What's up? This is PDiggy22, and I'm just gonna do a new little series for you guys since I don't really have a game out that I really enjoy. So I'm just gonna do some videos on how to get jobs in the gaming industry. If you guys don't know, I have worked as a tester before. I was at Activision. I tested the Call of Duty Elite website, Modern Warfare 3, and then like their mobile edition of their website. I did Medal of Honor Warfighter, the single player mostly. I did some multiplayer testing as well, but that wasn't my focus at that particular job. Done a bunch of apps, and I did Disney Infinity on the 3DS. So those are some of the things that I've done, and I'm just gonna show you how I got my job in the gaming industry. First off, I'll show you how to show you how to make a resume. Resume is pretty easy. All you really want to do is put the games that you've played in their beta stage. So like you'll put like Halo 2, Bungie Studios from January 2010 to June 2011. Those are just placeholder dates. I know it's not around those dates, but you get the idea. Just make sure they're accurate though. Then you're just gonna put like a few lines about what you did there, like test the Xbox version of Halo 2, things like that. Basically, all the betas you've tested for like the past 2 years, just go ahead and list those, and then just put like an underscore of what you did, and that's how you're gonna make your resume. So like you could put tested single player campaign, tested multiplayer, tested co-op, tested this app on this platform with this browser, tested this on Android, tested this on iOS, things like that. Like you could put, it's just a little bit of what you could put. Like you could, if you were in the Mag beta, you could put Mag Zipper Interactive December 2010 to January 2011. And you can just put tested PS3 version of Mag, tested multiplayer. Basically, that's what you're going to do. You're going to go through and list every single beta in every game, every studio, and the exact date. It doesn't have to be to the day, just make it to the month in case they do like research on it. But most of the time, with getting into video game testing, you're going to be dealing with recruiters, and they're just going to tell you, or they're not going to really know too much about video games. So if you just list like betas, they're not going to know the difference. As long as you know your stuff when you get. Uh, Most companies will have like a training session, like Activision, they had like a 3 day training session, and then you go on to the platform. But some companies, they'll just throw you right into the fire, so you kind of need to know what you're doing. As long as you know how to make your resume, you'll get an interview, but bug writing's probably the second part of the job, which is going to be the next portion of this little series I'm doing. So after you listed all your betas, you're going to put an objective, that you want to find a position in the video game industry. And then your overview, you're going to put like tested AAA games for bugs while paying close attention to first party requirements. Familiar with DevTrack, DevTest, and Bugzilla. So DevTrack, DevTest, and Bugzilla, those are bug tracking softwares. They're pretty simple. It's like basically, it's as easy as using like Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office. It's just on the web, so they could track it. It's pretty easy. I think you could download trials of them. So you might want to go, if you're applying for a job, you might want to go on there and just get familiar with the software. And then first party requirements. So Sony and Xbox, they use TRC or TCR, technical requirements or technical standards. So that's like their first party guideline. Like when you submit a game to Microsoft or Sony, the game has to meet all these guidelines. They're pretty easy. They make it sound more complicated than it actually is. It's like, all right, for Xbox or so, for pretty much any first party, if they have like their symbols, like on the PlayStation controller, the X button has to look like the X button. It can't be a different letter or shape. You can't. It can't crash the system. You know, a bunch of things like that. It has to have like, I don't know, like parent. Mm, maybe it has to meet like game ratings. Let's say if it's rated PG-13 or whatever, and there's nudity or violence, then that would probably be a first party issue as well. But you could look up, and lot check is basically the Nintendo technical requirements. You can look up and read up on all three of those, but they're pretty standard. I mean, if there is a first party issue that your whatever project you're on is dealing with, your project lead or your project manager will tell you, hey, this is a first party issue, make sure it's done. So that's usually what they use for submission. That's like the biggest part when you're approaching like a beta stage. You're going to submit to Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo, and they're going to go through the game and say, hey, you guys have to fix this, or we have to push your date back. So when crunch time comes around, you have to. First party is going to be the priority eventually at some point, if it's not always priority. So yeah, that's basically how you're going to make your video game tester resume. In the next video, I will show you how to write a bug. And then after that, I'll talk about locations and, where to submit your resume. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.